Welcome to the pathway for this week as we are digging deeper into Amos chapter 8. I really appreciated what Chad shared this week because there's so much of what Israel's facing where they need to reorient themselves in the way that they think about money. But that the core of that is not really just my behavior, it's in putting God at the center of everything. And I know in my own life, I've learned that the times where I start to care too much about money, worry too much about money, like one of the simplest healing things is that that's when I need to give some money away. Just to remember that that's not where my confidence is, that's not where my security is, it's in God. And so the key takeaway that Chad gave us was the idea that we can replace an inner famine, whatever the things are that we rely on that wouldn't stand up to a time of trial, and replace it with a satisfying feast. Especially a feast on God's word. And so what really struck me about that is that if you're watching this video, if you're watching the equipping service, if you're reading this with us, you probably have a taste for how valuable God's word is, how satisfying, how filling it is to spend time with him that way. And so I wanted to give you just a really practical tip to help you get the most out of these videos, the most out of the message, and that is read ahead. In fact, Chad mentioned that at the end of a message a couple of weeks ago, and it struck me because I found that I like to listen to Chad teach, I like to listen to a couple other pastors around the country teach, and if I listen to them without reading it first, I get a lot less out of it than if I read the passage and then listen. So you'll notice the last couple weeks on the Pathway handout, which is right on the back of the message notes, right at the bottom, it's just a little reminder of what's coming next so you can read ahead. So this week's says, check out Amos 9 before next week's message. And it was funny because as my wife and I sat down, Chad had a basket of fruit on the stage. And I looked at it. At first I thought it was like a baby carriage or something. I said, what is that fruit doing there? And my wife looks at me and says, well, didn't you read ahead? Oops. So I skimmed the passage real quick. But I'd encourage you, every week, if you get a chance to read the chapter ahead that we're going to be studying that week, you'll pull so much more out of it. And so one of the things I noticed this week was in verses 8, 9, and 10, when it talks about the earthquake, how the sun will go dark at noon, and how the people will mourn as if for an only son. How Chad drew those pieces together to point out that this is foretelling that really the thing that draws us to God and makes us right with him is Jesus Christ. That those are pictures of what happened on the cross when he died not only for our bad deeds, but for the good things that we think save us when only he does. So be encouraged by that this week. And if you get a chance before next week, read ahead in Amos chapter 9. Thanks for watching.